Hey there, audio friends. MrAyrit here, and yes, I am wearing a 6XX, and I know this headphone is one that I have bashed in the past. I've tried it. I think this is the fourth 6XX that I have owned over my audiophile. I wouldn't call it a career. My journey, my audiophile journey from starting back in. Since I got into it seriously, maybe like 2020-ish. And, it never clicked with me. This headphone just never clicked. I tried it. It was one of the very first, audiophile headphones that I tried. I never found it to just really jive with me. And it's always bugged me a little bit. You know that feeling where it's like you got all these people around you and they're all enjoying something and you try it and you're like, you don't get it. You just don't get why everybody loves this thing, and it just doesn't click with you. Well, this time around, the fourth time around, I think I get it. I think I finally get why the 6XX is a special headphone. And oddly enough, the thing that drove me to realize this was an audiobook. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. It's one of my favorite things to do as far as as I'm winding down for the day and getting ready to sleep. And I fall asleep to audiobooks a lot of the time. And I usually listen to them just on my AirPod Pros, Gen 2s. And that's fine. Obviously, it's convenient and easy and stuff like that. But, every now and then I kind of get a hankering to I have a headphone that I'm trying, right? So I picked these up. And so these happen to be a headphone that I was just trying out, again at the time because I picked them up from somebody local for $85 and I was like, well, hard to pass up at $85, right? I can give them one more shot, this $250 headphone from $85 and I know I can get my money back if I decide I don't want them. But I put them on and I'm listening to Brandon Sanderson's The Way of Kings series. I think I was on book 3 or something at that point, which is a phenomenal series. I'll link below. Check it out if you're into fantasy. Great series. You gotta have some time on your hands if you're gonna read it or listen to your audiobooks, though, because they're huge. But anyway, the instant I tried it with the 6XX, I was like, holy cow, this sounds like a human voice. And it sounded so natural, and I had been listening to it, the AirPod Pros, which I think are good, but not great. And it just was kind of like an epiphany to me, how much more like a human voice it actually sounded like on the 6XX. And keep in mind, I'm just powering this thing out of the Moondrop Dawn Pro here, which I love this little dongle. Again, I'll link to this below. But this has been one of my favorite amps lately. And I was just listening to it out of that, and I just thought, man, that sounds good. It sounds like a human voice should sound. So then that made me go, okay, I need to give this headphone another serious try. And so, I spent a couple of weeks really just listening to the 6XXs here, and I just really came to, I think, finally appreciate them for what they are, right? And they aren't the end all be all. That's where I think really tripped me up, is because so many people are just like, these are it, these are end game, you just gotta have the right amp and blah blah blah. And I tried them with a freaking bottlehead crack with a speedball and all this stuff. I tried them on all that stuff, right? And it never clicked with me. And I think people just overhype them too much. But for me, trying them out again for $85 and trying them out on a very modest amplifier to where I'm not building a system around them, and I'm sitting there going, dang, these things sound really natural. And that's where I think these guys come into play. They are not the end all be all, but what they do is they give you just a fairly natural, accurate presentation of an audio recording. Is it like you're there? No. Is it super resolution, ultimate definition? No. Is there a great soundstage? No. None of that stuff. Is there any top end? No. There's so many flaws to this headphone. But it's still a great headphone. And that's the thing, right? Is if people hype stuff up too much, then your expectations are they're way too high. And then when you try to actually go, and if you spend your own money on it and you actually try to go like appreciate it, it just falls flat and doesn't meet those expectations. But I think coming into this headphone again with almost zero expectations, as a matter of fact, I came in with the expectation that I'd probably just sell it again and I wouldn't like it, but at $85, I came into it, I listened to it, I had zero expectations, and lo and behold, that's when it finally clicked for me. And then I listened to music on it and I did all that stuff, and I was like, yeah, like I get it. And I understand why people would want to mix with this headphone too, because, well, first of all, let's talk about, like, I'm not going to cover the build and even do camera angles and all this stuff, right? You know what this is at this point, okay? It's plastic, but it's like a plastic tank, right? And it's comfortable. It's not luxury, but it's comfortable. It works. It's a system that works. And that's why I think, like, I can see why these would be, like, really good for mixing too. Is not that it has the most accurate, resolving presentation or anything like that. But what it does do is it shows you like an honest view of the recording. And once you kind of like get in tune with what this headphone is, it doesn't bother you so much that there isn't really a soundstage. It doesn't bother you that much that it doesn't really have like top end to it, because you just understand the headphone, and it is just a consistent, stable presentation of audio that once you're used to it, you can kind of like listen to whatever you want and you appreciate it. And it does give you like a good baseline for like just what things sound like. And it's not messing with any of the audio too much. It's not adding like a bunch of flavors to the audio that aren't there or aren't, present in the original mix. It's just kind of like honestly giving you the track in a reasonable, reproducible way every single time that makes it easy to trust, I guess, is kind of what it comes down to. And, I was really starting to enjoy this headphone, and then the Maze 105 Silvas came along, which, I released that review a couple weeks ago, and that headphone just really impressed me. It was like night and day. And then I said, after kind of listening to that headphone and understanding that headphone does have a very natural presentation, but it also has a lot of top end, has a lot of energy to it, has a little more sound stage. You know what I mean? I thought for me, for music listening all around, it was a way better headphone after I had gotten to the 6XX and was listening to it. But I still think this has its place as just, again, that kind of like old reliable, you know what I mean? This is like the pickup. This is like an old, think of it like a mid-90s like Ford pickup truck, right? Like F-150 that's just, it's running. Maybe, let's not say F-150. Let's say a Toyota. Okay, let's say it's like a Toyota, right? It's old reliable. It's not going to break down on you. It's not exciting to drive by any means, but it's going to get you where you need to go, and you can haul some stuff, and it's going to day in, day out. You can kind of count on it. Like, that's what this headphone is, right? It is the Toyota Tacoma of headphones. And, a hell of a lot of people love Toyota Tacomas because they can count on them. And so I get it now. I get this headphone. Now, all that to be said is like, does that mean it's not fun? No, not at all. It's like, if you can't enjoy listening to music on this headphone, that's like, I don't know, that's saying like you couldn't enjoy like a drive on a nice fall day, right? In a Toyota pickup. Like, again, it's not going to be exciting. You're not going to be on the edge of your seat. But like, if you can't just kind of sit back and enjoy it, like, that's more of a you problem than it is a problem of the headphone. You know what I mean? So I think, again, it all comes down to expectations, right? Like, I have come in with the appropriate level of expectations for this headphone to finally be able to enjoy it without being so critical of it, because now I know what it is. And now that I have one and I spent only $85 on it, I'll probably never part with it. You know what I mean? It's again, it'll be like that old pickup that like it's not my daily anymore, but I know it's there if I need to go get a load of firewood or something, right? Like, so yeah, I think this headphone, right, come into it with reasonable expectations. Should you have one in your collection? I mean, if you're a serious audiophile and you're into headphones and headphone testing, I mean, you probably should, honestly. Again, this is just like the reference point for so many people that I think, it's good to have. And that's why I've purchased it several times over again. That being said, like, could I justify having it in my system for $250? Probably not, but for $85, and guaranteed you can find one for $150 or less at this point, right? Like, there's so many of these out there at this point. People buy them, people sell them. They don't ever die. So there's plenty of them out and around that you can pick up. And I just, again, all reliable, right? Like, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to go to it. It's going to be like my palate cleanser is what I'm going to use. Is it going to get tons of play hours? I don't know. It probably depends on my mood, right? I'm in the middle of testing the Fosi GR70. It's like a tube amp. And, whatever. I won't get into that amp too much. But, like, it's a good amp. And, pairing it with, like people say, pair 6XX with a tube amp. Yeah, I paired it with a tube amp, and it sounds great on this, and I'm totally enjoying listening to it. And you know what? If that's the only setup I had, I would be fine. Like, I would be happy listening to music on that setup. Again, I've been listening when I'm in bed. I've been listening to it on the Moondrop Dawn Pro, and like, this is fine. This thing is like a surprisingly great little DAC amp for $45 or whatever. So, you talk about this setup and you're talking like what I paid for it, you're talking less than $130. Like, damn, that's a great sounding little setup there for that price. And I think that's where, like, this hobby for me, you go ebbs and flows, right? But you go down a road where you start trying off the $1,000 headphones, $2,000 headphones, $3,000 headphones, $1,000 DAC, $2,000 DAC, etc. You start building, you end up with like an $8,000 chain, and then you've got your expectations are way up here, and then it makes it just hard to go back and enjoy stuff like this if you don't have the proper expectations. But I'm at a point in my life here where, like, I don't have tons and tons and tons of time to listen to all these things. And what that does is it makes me pare down to kind of simpler setups, cheaper setups, where I can justify just keeping them around, and I can put them on and just enjoy them for a little bit, and I don't have to analyze them to death. And I think this is a headphone where if you analyze it to death, you can easily run it into the ground. But again, I think you're kind of doing this headphone and yourself a disservice if that's the attitude you're taking about some of these things. You know what I mean? It's good to have a critical eye and a critical ear, but you lean too far in that direction and you just stop kind of enjoying what you're doing. And I guess I'm at a point in my life where I just want to enjoy what I'm doing. So the 6XX fits into that really well, especially when I bought it for $85. So I finally get it, right? Again, it's not the end all be all. It's not the Ferrari. But Toyota pickups are good too, and they certainly serve a purpose. And I can put this headphone on, and I know it's got accurate vocals. I know the treble is not going to be hard to listen to. I know it's going to be smooth and easy to listen to, and I know the bass is going to have a little bit of thump. Is it going to have a lot of definition? No. But it's going to have some enjoyable thump to it, and, I can just kind of sit down and groove to it, and I don't have to worry about things too much, and I dig that about it, So that's where I'm at with the 6XX. Kind of a turnaround on it, but all about coming in with reasonable expectations. Okay. I think that's my cue to go. So I'm going to end this one. Hope you're well. Take care. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Hi.